Welcome back to the Immigration Answer Show. My name is Jim Hacking. This is episode 839 of the Immigration Answer Show. Today is Wednesday, May 28th. We had some confusion yesterday as to what day of the week it was because it got screwed up by Memorial Day. I'm going to be here for the next hour trying to answer all of your immigration law-related questions. How's everybody doing? How's your Wednesday? Off to a good start, I hope. It's a short week. I think everybody's feeling a little anxious because of the short week. They got to get a lot done in 4 days. How about you? What's going on in TikTok land? Hello, everybody. Hello, Old Cove. Hello, Winnie. Hello, Kells. Hello, Valerie. Hello, Julian. Hello, Nishad. Hi, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and get started right away so that I can try to answer as many questions as possible. Let's go to Tutu. Hello.
Hello, Big Jim. How you doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm all right. Got a question for you. So, my wife, Canadian, crossed over to the U.S. She has an approved I-130, waiting on consulate interview in Canada.
Mhm.
Was wondering, is this a good time to do the adjustment of status in the States, or we just wait for the consular processing?
When did she last enter?
That was in 21 of April.
So I'm open to the idea of applying for adjustment here in the United States, but it would have to be at least 60 days after she arrived.
Okay, then we can switch over to adjustment from there.
Yep. Yep. But you're just going to have to establish that that wasn't her plan, that that was a plan that developed after she came on this trip.
Okay, so but if you want to do that, what will be the process of doing that?
You'll file for a 485 and a work card, and you got to do the affidavit of support. You just have to do everything except for the I-130.
Okay. Because that one has been approved already. And it's document to qualify. We're just waiting on a date.
Yeah. So, I mean, once you make that decision, though, then you have to decide: do you want to wait for the embassy or do you want to adjust status? You can't do both.
I don't know. We're thinking about the embassy, but with all this waiting, this has been going on for like 2 years now. This is like
How long ago were you documentally qualified?
I think about a month and a half or 2 months ago.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I mean, adjustment will probably be quicker and you'll be together more.
Okay. All right. Appreciate that.
Bye,
Thank you, Jim.
Tutu. See you, bud. All right, let's go over to TikTok. Old Co says 45 status update says interview, if necessary, is complete despite us not going to one. Thoughts? That most likely means that your interview has been waived. Laura is here. Hello.
Hi, Jim. Thank you for taking my call.
Of course.
Hi, so I'm calling you for my brother's. He is a U.S. citizen and he got married in India. And then they did the whole process of I-130 and then NVC state. And then the wife was interviewed, and after the interview, the case was sent back to USCIS. After waiting for about 13 months, like a year, we finally received a letter from USCIS, the reason why it was sent back. And on the paper, it said the reason why they sent back is because the wife is a citizen of Myanmar and my brother is a citizen of United States. So they get married in India. So they said the marriage certificate was not registered in India. So they got married in church. So but the church is related to government. So they did not know that they have to initially register with the government. So after contacting India, um, like there's no way that they can register because by law they have to be one of the party has to be Indian citizen. That's what the lawyers told us. We contact like five or six different lawyer, and they even trying to go back to India and see if they could sort it out. But one of the people or like two of the party has to be not US the citizen of India. So as soon as we get the letter from USCIS, we call your office and see if they could help us. But we were told that they are not able to take the case. But we did not speak with attorney. It was just the intern. So we have to.
Sorry, that's my daughter calling. Go
Oh,
ahead.
I'm sorry.
I'm with
So
you.
we have so we have to respond. They only give us 30 days, so we have to respond back by June 17. So my question is, because it's impossible to get that paper because they are not enough India, is there any way that we can prove the marriage? They meet each other 2 times during this 3 years, or like, is there anything else that what are some options? Or and also I really want to ask your opinion that is it really that you guys can take the case like your office?
I don't think they have a valid marriage.
So so there's no option there, so there's like saying there's no hope even
I'm
though
not
they
saying,
took.
I'm not saying there's no hope. I'm not
Yeah.
saying we can't take the case. I'm saying that for purposes of this case, if they didn't record the marriage in the way that, I mean, the visa reciprocity table sets forth all the rules in India as it relates to a marriage, whether the church is related to the government or not. There's rules about whether the marriage is properly recorded. And if the marriage is not properly recorded, then that marriage cannot serve as the basis of an I-130. You can't fix it later. It has to be valid at the time that you file it. And since it seems like it wasn't valid at the time that you filed it, it seems to me that they need to get married properly in India or wherever they, in Myanmar or anywhere else, and start over.
Okay, so because there's like, so we from Myanmar, and I don't know if you noticed, like it's been war for like 3 years, so nobody go back to Myanmar. So a lot of people, they get married in India. So when we talk to people who arrive in America, they don't have that paper. They only have the wedding certificate. So
okay,
sorry, did I lose you?
That's not a substitute for sound legal analysis. Just because other people haven't gotten caught not recording their marriage doesn't mean that means that your case is okay. The State Department has gone through, here, let's just do it. We'll do it right now. The visa reciprocity table for India. Have you looked at this, the visa reciprocity schedule? Have you ever looked at that?
Based on a little bit of what I see on Google is that if you marry in India, like what I see from the Embassy of India, is that if you are married Christian or Hindu, you do not necessarily have to have marriage registration. That's what we saw on.
So this is your problem. You're listening to Google and other people from India or Myanmar. It says right here. I'm looking at it right now. I'll pull it up for you. You can't rely on the internet. You can't rely on Google for answers. You've called 6 lawyers. Haven't they all told you the exact same thing? Look here. A marriage certificate issued by a Christian church needs to be registered in the office of the Registrar of Marriages. It says it right there. Very plain. This is the first thing that they, when your brother's wife showed up at the embassy, they said, I haven't seen a Christian church marriage in India for a while. Let me go check the visa reciprocity schedule. It says it right there. So I don't care what the internet says. I don't care what friends and family say. The rules are the rules. Their marriage isn't valid. It says it right there.
Okay, so what? So do you recommend is just starting over, or what do you recommend for them?
So again, they don't have a valid marriage. They don't have a valid marriage. Okay. So the first thing they have to do is get married, and they have to record it properly. That they didn't do. And so when did they file what's the date of their marriage?
It was in May 25, 2022.
So they have wasted 3 years because they relied on the internet and they relied on friends and family.
Yeah, like I mean, like I said, if we know that they will do it, but we didn't know that they have to register.
Okay, but I'm just saying this to you because I'm trying to educate other people. This is the problem of relying on people that don't know what they're talking about. It's actually a very simple thing. It's set out right. I mean, sometimes the visa reciprocity schedule is confusing and it's hard to tell. Here it is in black and white.
So my question is, so if he went back and if they were to get married and probably like my question is, can we resubmit if they were to remarry again? Can we submit that one? That will that be acceptable? That I hope that my question makes sense.
Like, I think what you're asking me is, Jim, can we get them married now and not lose our place in line?
Yes, that's my question. Sorry.
That's okay. The answer is no. You got to start over. It had to be valid at the time you filed it.
Okay. So last question I have is, one thing is that, like, if you cannot get that paper, there's also a way to approve the marriage by a different different evidence. Was that also true? We were told by one of the attorney in America. So was that also option for us?
So one of my biggest jobs as an immigration attorney is to take away reasons for them to say no. So I'm not going to spend time thinking about other ways to do it when you haven't even tried the way that the government wants you to do it? So why after having gotten your teeth kicked in for 3 years and waiting for this lady would be almost eligible for citizenship, or at least eligible for, she'd be well on her way towards citizenship. Instead, she's still stuck overseas, and you're 2 years away from her coming. So do what it says. Don't keep. I don't know why you keep looking for all these alternative ways when the answer is right in front of you.
Because we can't get that paper on time. We thought we will be able to get my brother even flew over there right now, but he, even after he went to the court and then bring the marriage certificate, the Indian court, they're not allowed to give that paper because they are not citizens. So like truly this is something that we didn't know, and that's why we wasted, like they wasted all this year. If it's something that we know, like we like I don't know how to explain, but we will do it, but we just don't know, and it was
I
like
understand.
delayed.
It's hard. Yeah, I mean, you might want to think about getting married somewhere else too. But I mean, obviously you can't go back to Myanmar, and it sounds like India is not very helpful. I don't know what else to say. I would try to find someplace else where it's easy to get married and document it and then file.
Okay, so my last question is there no way, if we want to move forward with your office, is there no way you guys can take the case? I just want to hear from you, even though we already...
Yeah, say this is, email the office and say, I'm Laura, or email whoever you were talking to. This is Laura. I was just on the show with Jim. He thinks you can help my brother once he gets remarried. And if you're going to hire us, then we can also work with him to make sure that he does the marriage right. Okay.
So just email back and said, even though we already said we got the answer, no, just said Jim said email.
Yeah, and you can CC me on the email. I'm just Jim at the same as the one of everybody else. So just Jim at hackingimmigrationlaw.com.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Bye, Laura. See ya. Yeah. Make sure you tell me you were on the show.
Okay. All right.
All right. See ya. All right. Do you think DACA will continue? No, I don't. Can you analyze my FOIA status so I can see why they keep denying my N400? King Salvi, yes. Email it to us, info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com. Say you're on TikTok and that you want us to take a look at your FOIA. All right. Craziness. Let's talk to Tarek Decoder. Hello, Tarek.
Hello.
Hi, go ahead, buddy.
Hello.
Tarek, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Tarek.
Yes, hi. Thank you for taking my call. Just a quick backstory about my case. I came to the U.S. in 2014 as an international student.
Okay.
I got married a year ago, and my wife filed for my green card. Before that, I filed for asylum within a year from me coming, and I waited for like 9 years for it, and at the end, it got rejected, and then automatically I was put on deportation hearing. But my lawyer filed for in the court to close that case, and they closed it. But this morning, I got a notification saying that my interview for my green card got scheduled. Uh, the reason why I'm calling is because I'm really concerned, because recently I heard news about people getting arrested during their interviews, and I'm really concerned about that. Especially like I have a baby on the way, and it'll be a really difficult situation if my wife stays by herself while I'm in detention or something. Um, so I'm just calling just to see like how likely is it for somebody to get arrested during their interview for their green card?
I would say still not very likely. So when did you graduate, or when did you stop going to school?
2022. My previous lawyer, he told me it's school because I was about to graduate. Uh, but he said since you have a pending asylum case, it's okay for you to remain in the U.S. Since you have a case going on.
Sure. And so, do you know if when your asylum case was in court, had your I-130 been filed already?
No, I filed my I-130 6 months after I got married,
And
and
so
that was July 1st.
was that before the immigration court closed out your case or after?
It was before they closed my case. Before I got married.
Why did they close out your case?
Because they said in the notice of appear it says that I stopped going to school. And the reason it didn't make sense because the reason I stopped going to school is because I graduated already. And my previous lawyer told me it is safe for me to stop going to school.
Well, didn't you get sent to the immigration court because your asylum case got referred there?
Yes, I was sent there and I had an appointment. And when I went to my first appointment, literally 24 hours before my appointment, it got postponed. And then when it got postponed after that, my other lawyer sent a letter saying that Tariq has got married and his wife filed an I-130 for him and an I-484. And then they responded back saying that, okay, we're going to close the case, the deportation hearing case.
And so did they dismiss it? Did they terminate it?
No,
Or
they didn't terminate it. They said we closed it.
Okay. So, and right now the I-130 is still pending. It hasn't been approved.
The I-130 and the I-484 is scheduled for an interview today.
485. Yeah.
Yeah, 485. Sorry.
Okay.
The reason why I'm really, really concerned is because I got in trouble with the law before. In 2019, I have a misdemeanor disorderly conduct. But ever since then, I've paid my fine. I did my community service. But ever since then, I was straight with the law. I even did voluntary stuff. I was a really good person, and I was in the narrow path. But I don't know if that would bite me in the ass still after all these years.
So if we look at your case, we have someone who was an international student who filed for asylum. The asylum got referred to the immigration court. The immigration court admin closed proceedings. Then he filed an I-130 and a 45 with USCIS.
Yes.
And he has a disorderly conduct charge.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because if all that happened in court was that your proceedings were administratively closed, then that means USCIS doesn't have jurisdiction over your 485.
Okay.
Only the court does.
So I'm really confused now because what should I do in my end, or what's gonna happen?
So, I mean, I understand your concern, and I think you're right to be concerned. So, I don't think that they're going to take you into custody. I think the chances of that are pretty low. You have a pending I-130. You were in removal before. You've been here more than 2 years. So USCIS should approve the I-130. The marriage, everything's okay with the marriage?
Absolutely, it's valid. We commingled assets. We have photo, videos, documents, pictures. I have at least 12 evidence to prove
Did a
that the
lawyer
marriage is.
Did a lawyer file your 45, or did you file that on your own?
A lawyer filed for both I-30 and the other one, I-45.
And so you need to ask that lawyer, hey, is it the same lawyer that got your asylum proceedings terminated?
No, the other lawyer who got the asylum retired, so I hired a new lawyer.
Did you tell the lawyer that filed your 45 that you had that removal case?
I did, and but when I told her, that was a little bit after we filed, and then she said it's okay. We're gonna wait for it to process, and then we'll see what happens.
Okay, so does that mean that on your 45, when it says, have you ever been in removal proceedings, did it say yes or no?
I believe it said no.
Okay. Okay, so here's what you need to do. Is that lawyer going to your interview with you?
Yes,
And do you have a copy of the immigration judges terminating your proceedings?
I do.
So you need to don't call, email the attorney.
Yeah.
And say, hey, as we discussed, I want to make sure that you understand that I was in removal before, that my proceedings were were admin closed, they were not terminated, and I'm wondering how USCIS has jurisdiction over my I-485.
Okay.
But do it all in writing. Don't talk about it, because they'll deny that you ever had this conversation. Tell them you want to do it all in writing.
Okay. Sounds good.
The fact of the matter is, you have to get that I-130 approved in order for you to have any kind of safety or future in the United States. So
Yeah.
I feel like you have to go to the interview. I also think the chances of them taking you into custody are like 1% or 2%. So I don't think you need to be overly worried about it. But
Okay.
you should probably have a plan, like some money set aside if you need to get bond out of immigration detention. But
Yeah.
you shouldn't be detained for long if they take you into custody. They should just, if they want to mess with you, they should just put you back in removal.
Okay. Sounds good. Mr. Hacking, I have one last question. So my case is in Fort Snelling in Minnesota. I was wondering if you guys have an office there, or would you guys represent a client like me?
Well, my son goes to the University of Minnesota. My daughter wants to go to the University of Minnesota. Fort Snelling is right by the airport, right?
Yeah. Yeah. St. Paul.
So, what email the office, email info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com. How far out? Don't tell me the date of your interview, but just tell me how far out it is.
I still don't have the notice,
Oh, okay.
but yeah, but I always check in the morning, and I saw there was an action taken,
Okay.
but I still don't have the exact date.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always looking for a reason to come up to Minnesota. So send me an email, and well, first of all, do what I said about that attorney.
Yes, I will definitely.
Ask them how do you think that that USCIS has jurisdiction over my 45,
Yeah.
seeing as I had admin closed proceedings.
Okay, I'll definitely do that.
Right.
And just to let you know, that attorney is the same attorney who got the removal admin closed, and they also filed for TPS, temporary protection status, for me, and it's still in progress.
So you have a pending TPS case?
Yes.
So that's another reason why hopefully they won't take you into removal. But wait, I thought you said the attorney that did your termination of proceedings retired.
No. The one who did my asylum case is the one who retired.
Well, who shut down proceedings? The attorney that retired?
No, the one who shut down the proceeding is my current attorney.
Okay, so that attorney actually knew when you filed your 485 that you had been in proceedings.
Yeah.
Okay, you had said you told her after.
Yeah. I just told her I have a pending asylum case at that time.
Okay. All right, thanks, Tarek.
Okay, thank you so much.
Bye, buddy. That was a mouthful. All right. Hello, everybody in TikTok land. Hello, everybody in YouTube land. Let's go to Mimsy. Hello, Mimsy.
Hi, Jim. Good evening, or well, evening where I am, afternoon your time. Okay, so very quickly, I recently applied for a student visa, and I was denied. And I'm assuming I was denied because about 90% of my family is in the U.S. And
Yeah.
that was basically the only question that I was asked. So it was established that my family's in the U.S. and it's assumed that I have immigrant intent. But I have an offer from a school with scholarship, and I'm trying to figure out the next steps to take. I'm trying to consider all of my options. So I'd like to know, what my options are. So for example, I have an existing B1, B2 visa, and I'm wondering if it would be wise or a smart move to come in maybe next year with my B1, B2 visa and do a change of status, or whether I should reapply again, maybe this year or next year, or even so my partner is also going to school, is also trying to get a master's, and I was wondering whether to come in as an F2 dependent for him and change to then do a change of status, or really what's any other option that I have. And then I also was wondering, so that's 4 questions. My last question really is this temporary pause on interview interview dates, how the real impact of that.
I don't think. Okay, so I'm going to mute you because your microphone's all garbled. Okay, I'm going to mute you. I don't think that if the embassy has denied a student visa because they think you have immigrant intent, I don't think that applying for a student visa a year from now is going to change the analysis very much. I also don't think that marrying someone who's coming on a master's and trying to apply for an F2 changes the analysis very much. I think that if you have a B1, B2 visit visa and you came to visit, and while you were here, you decided to apply for an F1, that might be your only shot of actually coming to the United States.
Okay, and even with that, what do you think is the best time frame? If I come in this year, do you think that's good? It would be a good idea, or do you think I should wait till next year to come in on my B1, B2 visa? Because I was also planning to just make a short trip to the US, visit my family, and then come back. Maybe that can help alleviate the concerns about immigrants' intent if I go and come back within like time. And so I was wondering when would be the best time to do this change of status from my B2 to, or my B1 to F1.
I don't think there's any real way to predict it. I think it's all going to depend on. I think it's all going to depend on where you go through customs and what customs official you get. I don't think that waiting a year changes the analysis very much. It's all about whether I would say that I would assume that if you're going to be allowed back in the United States, you might only get allowed back into the United States one more time. So I wouldn't be a big fan of this. Let's come now, then go home on time to try to make them like me more, and then I'll come back on a future visit visa. I think you have to seriously consider the fact that you're very, very lucky to have this student visa, and it's very unlikely that you're going to be able to enter the United States many times moving forward.
So sorry. Why do you think Because I have my visa is for about 5 years, I think. So why do you think I wouldn't be able to enter on my visiting visa?
Because the embassy the U.S. government just made a finding that you have immigrant intent, and for all I know, they lock that into your system, and CBP sees that when you come through the next time. Or CBP sees that and they say, hey, where's the rest of your family? Oh, 90% of your family's in the United States. Yeah, I think you have immigrant intent. I'm not going to let you in. Or I'm going to let you in, but only for a week. And if you try to adjust status, we're going to get you. So these are the kinds of things that happen.
Okay, so my best bet really is to come in and do a change of status from B2 or B1 to F1.
Again, I wouldn't spend too much time doing that until you're actually in the United States. I wouldn't say I'm coming to the United States with the intention of changing my student visa. That's not the purpose of it. You're coming on a visit. You're coming on a visit. That's it. And if you decide later, deal with it then. Don't deal with that now.
Okay. And what about my current offer? Would I have to reapply to a new school?
For what?
What about my current offer? Would I have to reapply to a new school if I do a change of status?
Oh, I have no idea. That depends on the school.
No, I mean, not even like in terms of, because you're saying I shouldn't come in with the intention. So if I already have an offer and then I decide to change my status, does that, present a bad look?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Thanks, Mimsy.
Sorry, before I go, just to confirm, so I wanted to ask about the temporary pause, what the real impact of that is.
on your case, not much. It's you got much big. That stuff's going to sort itself out in the weeks to come, and that'll be long before you're dealing with your situation. So I don't think you need to worry about that too much. All right, let's go to Sang. Hello, Sang. You're on mute, Sang. Sang, you're on mute. You said you had a burning question. I don't hear you. We can't hear you, Sang. All right, Sang's out of here. Let's go to Cold Stone. Hello, Cold Stone. Cold Stone, are you there? Hello. Nobody's ready. Okay, I'm going to go to Angel, then Kali, then Muhammad. Angel, hello.
Hi, Jim, it's Angel.
Hi,
Thank you
Angel.
so much for having me on your show.
Sure.
I have a little bit of situation, and I might have a couple questions related to that. I came on student visa in 2014, and I got my work visa a few years later. But after a year being on student visa, I found out that we had a family immigration file. That was the main beneficiary was my mom, and it was filed by my grandfather, who is a U.S. citizen. And what happened was I did not qualify under the CSPA Act, so my name was removed from the file. But in 2019, my whole family moved to United States. Um, and since I was trying to get them adjusted, I was earning a little bit on my OPT. Uh, I got them settled here, and I even got my work visa after I was done with my master's.
Okay.
So in 2019, my mom filed for me when she came here, and now she's a US citizen because, um, but the dates have not moved. And the issue is that I'm not married, but I'm pregnant now. And with the new birthright citizenship in question, I don't qualify as a legal resident, um, only till at least my file is, I don't have adjustment of status filed yet. So I don't count as a legal resident either. So would this be an issue for my baby? And does this cause any problems being pregnant but unmarried? Does this cause any problems in my immigration file or
Okay, so birthright citizenship is the same today as it was the day Joe Biden left office.
Mhm.
So that hasn't changed. So it may change. It's probably not going to change. I think that Trump has the losing argument, and you probably don't need to spend too much time worrying about this. Okay.
okay? Um, and
As far
yeah, sorry, Jim, continue.
you go ahead. Go ahead.
So, if my baby is a citizen, and in case I lose my job before I'm eligible to file for adjustment of status, is just because I don't have family in India, like how it, and I'm worried because I was thinking of filing my paternity leave with my employer, and I found out they have hired, like the client has hired someone else for my position, like similar. And I'm kind of worried. I haven't got anything. It was just a floating email, but I'm worried that I might lose my job,
Yeah. Okay.
especially when I take my maternity leave around the time.
Okay. So then, what's going to be your solution after that? Because your mom's petition doesn't
Mhm.
allow you to stay in the United States.
Even if it is like a year away, a year and a half away from
Yeah.
priority, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You
And the
can't.
dates haven't moved in a year, 3 years. The dates haven't moved. If
Right. So if you lose your job, that won't serve as any basis for you
Uh-huh.
to stay in the United States, and then you'd be out of status, and you wouldn't be able to adjust when they do become current.
So what would be my options like?
You'd have to
Because
either find another job or you'd have to leave the United States.
there is no petition like I can file, given the dates are close, or
No, I mean you could try to go back to school or something, but you couldn't. There's no like, hey, I just had a U.S. citizen baby, or hey, I'm really close on my priority date. That's not how it works.
okay. So there's nothing like you can file, even or get.
Not till the kid's 21.
Yeah, because right now, like my family, my grandfather, everyone is in United States, and that's.
Yeah, but they don't. You know, they don't care about that.
uh, yeah, I'm not really in a situation to move back right now, so I'll have to see if
Yeah,
there's.
in answer to your question, they're going to assume that if you had a baby that you're married. You're probably going to have to prove that you're not married.
Oh, how do I prove that?
It's tough. I don't know. I mean, usually I'm in the business of proving that someone is married, not that they're not. But I could see them. I mean, that's something to worry about in the future. We're away from that.
Mhm.
So I think we're just sitting tight, and they're going to want to know. I mean, do you live with the baby's father?
Yes, ever since I found out I'm pregnant, the father's with me because would not, like I needed care, so I'm living with the father.
All right. Good luck, Angel.
No problem.
All right. Let's go back to Cold Stone. Hello, Cold Stone. Are you there? All right. We'll let Cold Stone go. Let's go to Kali. Hello, Kali.
Hey, how are you, man? Thanks for accepting my me to ask a question.
Of course.
Um, so I have a issue. My wife, we've been married. She's trying to petition for me through marriage base. No, we want to submit all the documents, but there's an issue where she's having an issue with her last name, where um all her documents have her mom's last name, and her birth certificate has her dad's last name. So the marriage certificate is in the mom's last name, which all of the other documents, her social security, her tax forms, all that is in. But the birth certificate to prove that she's a United States citizen has a different last name, which is her dad's last name. Now her mom's last name is also on the birth certificate, but where her last name shows in the where it shows her last name, it shows as her dad's last name. So the marriage certificate would show a different last name from what's on her birth certificate. So I'm wondering how big of an issue is that, because we've been trying to change it, the birth certificate, but it's taking some time.
So, wha- does this person have a U.S. passport?
No, they don't have a passport.
Why?
Well, I guess she didn't try to get one. But the issue is, we thought about getting a US passport, but if she got one, I'm assuming it would be in the same last name that's on her birth certificate, which is under a different last name from all her other documents.
And why is it that all of her other documents are in under her mom's name? Is that because culturally that's how they do things back home?
Nah, nah. She's not even sure. She's the United States citizen. She's
I know,
petitioning for me.
I understand.
Yeah.
So she goes around the world saying I'm Mary Smith, but on her birth certificate it says I'm Mary Jones.
Yeah, that's exactly what's
And
going on.
she's going to apply for a U.S. benefit for you.
Well, yeah, she's gonna try to petition for me through marriage base, for me to get a green card through marriage base.
So you're in the United States.
Yes.
Does anyone have any explanation as to why the birth certificate is different?
Nah, no one. They're saying it was a mix up. I don't know. No one is really sure. because she had a birth certificate a long time ago, an old one, but it got lost or something like that. So a couple months ago, she went and tried to get it. She tried to get a new one, and her dad's last name was on the new one. So they're trying to say maybe it was a accident because I guess no one else noticed it before. They're trying to say it was an accident when they printed it at the records office or something like that.
I would spend as much energy as humanly possible going back to that office and getting a corrected birth certificate. If I thought you might be talking about a birth certificate that was generated at or the time that she was born, but she should be able to go back to the recorder of deeds or whatever the agency is in her hometown and get a correct birth certificate. That's their mistake.
All right. So, but there's no point in submitting the documents without the correct birth certificate.
I would fix that first.
Yeah. All right.
And I would get her a passport.
But I'm wondering if we try to get her a passport, isn't the last name on the birth certificate?
After you get her birth certificate corrected, yeah.
Oh, get her a passport. All right. Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Hi, Khalid. Good luck, buddy. All right. Let's go to Mohammed. Hello, Mohammed.
Hey, Jim. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thank you. So just some context before I ask you my question. So I'm the Canadian citizen beneficiary to my wife, American citizen wife's I-130. So we applied for the I-130 March of 2024. So there's some people that also applied during the same time that are getting approved. I'm still just waiting on mine. So my question is, I'm actually in the States right now. It's been a month. I'm on a B2 visa visiting my wife. Yeah, my intention, as always, was, visit my wife for a couple weeks and then go back to work and all that.
Because that's what you always,
right now.
That's what you always.
Yes, and I do have history of traveling back and forth after my wife has submitted the I-130. But right now, I am kind of in between contracts, just waiting for that to come through. So I've been here for a month now. I am thinking about applying for adjustment of status, but my question is, does the 90-day rule still apply, or because of this new administration, is it more like a 120-day rule or a 150-day rule?
No, it's 60. It's 60-day rule.
60 days? Okay.
Yep. Yeah. If you apply before 60 days, then they assume that you had immigrant intent, that you did not validly come on a visit visa, that you had immigrant intent the whole time. So if you wait at least 60 days and make that decision then, and then start, building your life here and applying for a green card, then you would take the I-130 receipt notice and attach it to your new 45 and say, hey, I know that we originally indicated that I wanted the consular process, but now I want to adjust status.
Okay. Could you please explain the difference between the 60-day and 90-day rules, or is
the 90-day rule? The 90-day rule is a State Department rule in which they sort of analyze whether people have immigrant intent. It has nothing to do with USCIS or adjustment of status. It's a 60-day rule.
Gotcha. Okay. Is this 60-day rule like an unofficial guidance, or?
No, I think it's in the field adjudicator's manual, I think.
Gotcha. So if I apply on the 61st, I should be fine, or is that still like?
I wouldn't be too clever about it.
Okay, sounds good. And sorry. So from your experience, how long does it take for an adjustment of status to for someone that did AOS to get their work authorization and travel authorization?
About 6 weeks, and most people were telling don't even bother applying for advanced parole because 90 or 85% of people are getting their green cards before they never get their advanced parole.
Gotcha. Okay. So obviously, like, it could take, a bit less or a bit more, but yep. Sorry, how long did you say? 6 weeks for the work authorization?
6 months.
6 months.
4 to 6 months. Yeah. Might be faster, but most people are in that 4 to 6 months range.
Wow, having to not work for 6 months is kind of career suicide. Okay. Do you have any tips for someone like me to, get things faster, like approved faster or anything like that? Or
No,
is it better if I?
in fact, yours will go slower because you started as a consular processing. So no, I don't.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much for your time.
Bye, Mohammed. See you, buddy.
Bye.
Me and my husband filed his paperwork in March and April, and we already have an interview set in July. Yeah, Lakin, there's a small window, maybe 20% of cases where they're getting a really, really fast interview. And sometimes that's because you're just lucky, and sometimes it's because they think you don't have a lot of marriage evidence, and you won't be able to get a lot of marriage evidence by the time the fast interview rolls around. Law of the hybrid, hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. So I am the petitioner. My wife is the beneficiary. She's from Mexico. We just got approved on the I-130 and the 45, and the green card was the conditional green card because we've been married less than a year, or sorry, less
Great.
than 2 years, was mailed yesterday. And she wants to go. She's from Mexico. We're in San Diego. She wants to visit her family in July for like 3 days. So I'm just wondering if, like, what's travel like? I didn't want to take any chances of, leaving the country if something weird's gonna happen.
Are you going to go with her?
Yeah.
So generally, I'm advising people just because things are so screwed. Was she in status at the time you filed, or was she out of status?
She was in at the time we filed, but she fell out.
Yeah, that's
like
okay.
during the week.
And has she had any kind of criminal stuff?
No.
So generally, I'm telling people, and people, you'll see in the comments, people say I'm conservative on travel, but I'm asking people not to leave the United States until next year, until things calm down. But do I think she's going to have a problem? Probably not. I think it should be okay, but I just get anxious about it because of all the weird stories.
Yeah, I mean that's why I called, because I'm more concerned than she is, and I just wanted to get your opinion.
Yeah, well, she wants to go home and see her family. I get that.
Yeah, so that's the only question I have.
Thanks, brother.
Thanks.
Mia is here. Hello, Mia.
Hi, how are you, sir?
Good. How are you doing?
Nice to see you. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Long time I tried to contact with you, but I couldn't find out how to get there. So I have a quick question now about my I-485. I am based on grant asylum. So I did apply 2022 as August. So after 12 months, I got a RFP for medical. So I submit that medical also within a month period. So after that it's past 10 months, is about 22 months. So I didn't heard from anything, the USCIS. I called couple of times, but they say just, oh, they have a lot of file, so I have to wait. But I passed my the processing time also. So what I have to do in that case, in your experience?
All right. So are you ready?
Yeah.
USCIS said in February that they believe that Joe Biden's people did not do enough of a background check on people who got asylum. And because they feel that way, they are going to stop processing green card cases based on asylum.
Oh, I see.
Now, I believe this is illegal. I believe what they're doing is illegal. So I'm thinking about filing a lawsuit to challenge that. And I'm thinking of gathering a bunch of people into one lawsuit and just charging them $1,000 a piece to try to get them to start, because I think it's illegal that they just, hey, we don't like these kinds of cases, so we're not going to process them. I think that's bullshit. So if you want to be put on the list of the people that we might do that, email the office, info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com, put in there asylum lawsuit, and then send me your contact information, and then I'll put you on the list.
Okay, that's great. I will do that. So that is only option I have left, right?
Yeah.
So somebody says like, is it mandamus? I can file that. So that is not.
This is a mandamus, but for everybody. Instead of charging you $5,500, which is what I usually do, that's because a particular case is stuck. But now I want to challenge the whole rule that of what they're doing, and that's what I want. That's what I want to do as a group.
Okay. So yeah, that if is yeah, I can do. So I have to do only just send my information to in your office.
Yeah, send me
The
your
email.
Send me your 485 receipt notice,
Mm-hmm.
your contact information, and then we'll go from there. Okay.
Okay, then. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate, sir.
Thanks.
And God bless you. And hopefully you have a wonderful day.
Assalamu alaikum, brother.
All right. Assalamu alaikum. Okay.
All right. Sang, hello.
Hello, Jim. How are you? Thank you so much for letting me on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. You're not driving, are you?
No, I'm not.
Okay, what's up?
Yeah, so I have an issue with I came in the US on a J1 visa, completed my program in conflict resolution, and then filed for an asylum. I have been my work permit has been renewed, and as of now I have a 5-year work permit. Recently my husband and I got married. We've been together for since 2023, and we got married, and he filing for me my I-130. I just wanted to know if there is any problem, if there might be any problem in the future. Now that the I-130 has been filed, and my case was also, my asylum case has been transferred to the immigration court.
Was the case sent to the asylum? Was the asylum case sent to the immigration court before you got married or after?
Yes, after I got married. It was before I got married back in 2019. And the case has been postponed for the master hearing the whole time because of COVID.
Okay, so give me the timeline again. What's the date of your marriage?
My marriage is March 28, 2025.
Oh, so you just got married.
Yes.
And you've been in removal for 6 years.
Yeah, pretty much.
And did you file an I-130 and a 45 or just a 45? I mean, just an
Just the
I-130.
I-130. Just the I-130 for now.
Okay, and when is your next court date in immigration court?
July 31st. This year, July 31st.
And do you have a lawyer for that?
Yeah.
Okay, and the lawyer knows you filed the I-130?
Yeah, sure.
And did the lawyer tell you that when you file an I-130 petition and you're in removal, that you have to meet a higher standard? Like they assume that people that get married while they're in immigration court, they have to show by clear and convincing evidence that it's a real marriage.
Yeah, sure. He did tell me that. And we provided all of the evidences with our rent, bill payment, and every other small documents that we have, our travel itineraries, and all of the places we visited so far since 2023.
Okay, so that's good. So yeah, I mean, I just think you're going to have your I-130 interview notice at some point in the future. At your court date in July, you and your attorney will say, "Hey, I'm married to a U.S. citizen. I have this I-130 pending. Do you want to terminate? Do you want to terminate the removal?" They'll say no. I think you're doing everything right. You're doing everything you can. I think you just got to wait.
Okay. Thank you, Jim. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah.
Bye-bye. All right, everybody. That'll do it for today's show. I'll be back maybe tomorrow, maybe Thursday. No, tomorrow is Thursday. Maybe Friday. Remember, if you want to get alerted whenever we're going live, text the word SHOW, SHOW, to 314-470-3300. And we will send you a text when I'm going live with a link to the waiting room so you can ask me a question. I hope you all have a great day and a great night. And we'll see you on the next show. Bye, guys. I'm great about that, other than trying to help people who are in a state of invasion.